Kasturiji, Swami's biographer, was once so intimate with Swami in his divine presence. He was so overwhelmed with Swami that he asked Swami, "Swami, who are you really?" And Bhagavan very spontaneously burst forth with this poem describing himself. And Swami described himself like this. He said, "Sarvarupadharam Shantam." I have assumed all the forms in the entire creation, and yet I am the unassuming, silent substratum. Sarvanamadharam Shivam. Every form goes with a name. This has a form. What is its name? A pen, a marker. This has a form. What is its name? A mic. You see, each one of us here have a form and therefore have a name as well. What Bhagavan declared on that day was, since he has assumed all the forms, all the names are his as well. And therefore, every name is Shivam, pure auspiciousness. But then Swami went on to clarify and say, while I have become the multiplicity of what today scientists recognize as multiverses, he is not many. Swami, who pervades as all of this creation, is only one. And therefore he said, Satchitananda Advaitam. Advaitam means I am not two, I am only one. And his true name, Swami had quite a few times in his discourses described and said, you may call me by any name you want. You may call me Allah, you may call me Jesus, you may call me Krishna, Rama, Shirdi Sai, Sathya Sai, whatever you like. You may call me Hanuman. But my real name is Satchitananda, Swami would say. Sat means being or presence. Can all of you here confirm you're present? Yeah? Maybe with a raise of hand? Oh, okay, nice. So Sat means presence. Chit means awareness. Awareness of what? Awareness of the presence. When the awareness is of the presence itself, the pure existence itself, then we know ourselves to be Ananda. The bliss that we are seeking outside is actually our own fragrance. There is this beautiful analogy that Swami always gives of the musk deer. The musk deer, from where we get the perfumes that have the musk fragrance, there's an interesting thing about them, the musk deer. It seems the musk deer, throughout the day, is running around from one end of the forest to the other end in search of something. What is that? The musk deer is in search of the fragrance called musk, which it is getting. Not knowing where it is coming from, it runs from one end of the forest to other throughout the day in search of the source of the fragrance. And guess what? The musk fragrance is coming from the musk deer. You see? In the same way, the bliss, the happiness, the joy that each of us seek, and therefore we have found a million ways to find it outside. We are like the musk deer running from one end of the forest to the other end. But in reality, the fragrance of bliss, the fragrance of love, the fragrance of joy is our own fragrance. And therefore, Swami is here to remind us that life, the journey with Sai, is not an outward journey. Journey with Sai is seek always inside. SAI is seek always inside. In some time we'll see inside what, who is seeking, and what really are you seeking, right? Just to simplify things, Journey with Sai is a beautiful theme for the retreats, the regional retreats happening across Australia. But then what we have done, we have actually threaded, because all of Australia is one united team, isn't it? And therefore, there's a thread that is running across sessions. This is the very essence of the thread. Sai can simply be looked at as Sa, the syllable Sa, plus I. Right? S-A-I can be S-A plus I. You see? This I here is all these little I's that are there. All the I's that we are, the little I. So this is us. And Swami says the syllable Sa, S-A, Sa, means divinity. Sa means divinity. Therefore, what is this? This is the journey of this little I that we are to dissolve in Sa to become Sai. This journey is a journey of a devotee to dissolve in the divine. And that is the journey with Sai. Swami further clarifies and says, this Sa that is divinity, that is Bhagwan himself, actually has 4 levels or 4 levels of liberation that a devotee experiences in their journey to dissolution in the divine. What are the 4 levels? The first level is called Salokyam. Salokyam means living in the kingdom of God. The second level is called Samipyam. Samipyam means achieving nearness and dearness to God. Now, if you're living in the kingdom of God, the king is going to be in one palace, right? So, not necessarily that you are going to be with the king, but then it's still great to live in the kingdom of God. But Samipyam means you get into the palace of God and live with him. You have close proximity, nearness and dearness. Once Swami said this, there was a student who was praying to Swami for an opportunity to travel with Swami. So Swami asked, why do you want to travel with Swami? So he said, Swami, I want to be near you all the time. Swami said, but that's not enough. You must be both near and dear to God. You can only be dear to God if you please God. You know, every time the students would ask Swami for something, they would say, please Swami, interview Swami, please Swami, Kodai trip Swami, please. So Swami would simply use the very same word and say, yes, I agree, please Swami. You see? So it is only when we please God, we behave in a way that is pleasing to God, that we become near and dear to God. That is important. Both nearness and dearness is important. So that is itself a level of mukti which is called Samipyam, a level of liberation. The next level is called Sarupyam. Sarupyam means to have the same form of God. Sa means divine, Rupam means form. Sarupyam means to have the same form as God. Now the problem is, most dull-witted intellects interpret this as dressing up like Swami. Right? If it was so simple, instead of having this retreat, we should have just had maybe 300 robes here. Right? And all of you wear one, and that's it, Sarupyam. It's a mukti, which Bharata himself attained, as Swami would describe. But that's not what Sarupyam is. Sarupyam really means that the devotee, in their journey to dissolution in the divine, have got to a stage, which is the penultimate stage, where they are almost not there. Almost not there. They are there. How are they there? As pure instruments of God. And then what kind of union do they attain with the form of God? The union they attain with the form of God is to exude the virtues of divinity. That is, Swami has listed 6 virtues. He said, these 6 virtues are directly associated with God, and they are highest among the human values. All other values may change with time. You see, from time to time, with Desha Kala Parasthiti, with situation, circumstances, we know that 2 generations before us, the values that were there, today, they have changed. Right? Those are changing values. But then there are these 6 that are unchanging. What are they? Swami writes this in Prema Vahini, the very first chapter. The English translation may have missed out on the exact 6, but what Swami says in Telugu is this. First is Daya, compassion. The second is Dakshinyamu, charitable nature. The ability to contribute to others' life selflessly, charitable nature. Right? Then Prema, love. Here, as a value, love means deep, genuine affection to all beings in the creation. You see? Prema. Kshama, forbearance. Ability to forgive and forbear. Then you have honesty and integrity. Nijayati is the word Swami uses. Honesty and integrity. And the last one is Orpu or patience. When a devotee is about to completely dissolve in the divine, at the level of Sarupyam, these 6 values flow through them without any effort, effortlessly. They don't have to try to practice this. These happen in them very naturally. That is the fragrance of God, the grace of God that is exuding through them. And finally is Sayujyam. Sayujyam means there is no devotee left. The devotee has dissolved in the divine. Just like the doll of salt that goes to the ocean. You know, in the Gold Coast, we made a mention of this, that, you know, the doll of salt was trying to gauge the ocean. So the doll was asking, what is that, what is that, what is that? Means about the ocean. So, as Madam mentioned, there is always a wise man somewhere around. The wise man said, if you want to know, dear salt doll, what the ocean is, go into the ocean. You cannot know it from the beach. Go into the ocean. So the salt doll started walking slowly into the ocean. And you know what happened? First the toes in the leg melted away, the feet melted away, the legs slowly melted away, the torso slowly melted away, and finally there was just the neck when the salt doll said, I came here to know what is that, what is that, what is that, and now I know what is this, what is this, what is this. And it goes in and becomes one with the ocean. You see, the salt doll and the ocean is the same salt. Right? It came from there, it's just gone back there. And you can't find the form of the doll anymore. So that is Sayujyam. The fun part of this whole series is, in Melbourne, where the first retreat was, we addressed predominantly Salokyam. Okay, so we request all the devotees here that when the videos are released for each of you, you must consume them in this order. That is, the Melbourne retreat, followed by the Adelaide, which was on Samipyam, nearness and dearness to God, followed by Gold Coast, which was on Sarupyam, and finally they all have to listen to Sydney, which is merger with God, Sayujyam. Okay? So today's topic, Sayujyam, is summarized by the first ever bhajan, as we all already saw. Even in Bhaja Govindam, the beautiful verse, it says Bhaja Govindam. I want to bring a new insight that may not be familiar. Bhaja Govindam, when Adi Shankaracharya, the great master of Advaitic teachings, had sung this, most people interpreted Bhaja Govindam as remember or think of Govinda, means God, Bhagwan, Krishna, right? Which is true, which is true. But there was a deep inner meaning and a secret to that, which is not prominently known. And that is what we will see here. Bhaja Govindam, what he meant by that was there was this scholar in Kashi who was continuously chanting a rule of Sanskrit grammar, right? He was chanting that. What was that? I'm sure you all know. What is that? Dukrin Karne, right? So he was going on chanting Dukrin Karne to memorize the rules of grammar. So Adi Shankaracharya, who was walking by, he heard that and he saw what he was doing and he knew he's wasting his life. So he said this, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Oh foolish mind, Govindam Bhaja. That is, what do you understand from that? Govindam Bhaja? Think of God, right? Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi, Nahi, Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Karane. When the final movement becomes you, that is when the prana, the life breath has to leave this body. Now you may not know, it's all hunky-dory. But when it actually has to leave, all that you are doing here is not going to come to your help, to your rescue. What will help then? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Bhaja Govindam. But what he really meant here, what Adi Shankaracharya really meant here, Bhaja means, Bha means bhajan. That is to think of, ruminate, right? Bha also means effulgence of the Atma. The illumination of the self is Bha, as in Bhagavan. In Bhagavan, the Bha means the illumination of your own true self, right? Ja means japa. Japa means what? What do we do in japa? Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram. Coffee is ready? Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram. Acha, the clothes are ironed? Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Shri Sai Ram. See, this is japa. But the real japa is without the coffee and the clothes ironed, right? That is continuous rumination is called japa. Of what? Bha means spiritual effulgence, the true self that we are, which is Bhagavan himself. The true self that we are is Bhagavan himself. That is Bha of the Bhagavan. And Ja means japa, constant attention on the self. When you have constant attention on the self, the devotee loses their identity only to recognize there is only Bhagavan. There was a wonderful exponent of Vedanta who visited Prasanthi Nilayam, and when he saw Prasanthi Nilayam, he was inspired to say something, and he said that in Swami's divine presence. This was post Mahasamadhi, but in Swami's divine presence. He said this, he said, all religions talk about one God. All religions talk about one God. Do you agree? Yeah. Then he said, that is the problem. He said, all religions talk about one God, but the true teaching of spirituality is, there is no one God. There is only God. There is no one God. There is only God. So when the bhajan, actually, you have beautiful bhajan singers here. Let's have a huge round of applause for the, it feels like you're sitting in Prasanthi Nilayam, right? And also the altar. Whoever made the altar, please. So beautiful, right? So thank you for all of this. So bhaja basically means constant attention on your own self, which is Swami. So it so happened one day that there were young adults from Delhi who had come to Prasanthi Nilayam, and they were fortunate to get an interview with Swami. And in the interview, Swami asked them, if you have any questions, ask. So they said, Swami, whenever we come to Prasanthi Nilayam, we feel your presence so well, so deep, so wonderful. But when we go back to Delhi, everything is gone. Okay. So they were hoping Swami will teach them how to connect with Swami. That's all. That's the most common question these days, right? If you ask, do you have any question? Brother, how to connect with Swami? So I tell them, if you want to charge your phone, what do? You connect your charger to the phone and connect the charger to the source, which is the plug point. So if you want to connect to Swami, the charger cable here is your mind, right? Which is connected to the idea of you, which is the phone. And what you have to do, what you're asking for, to connect it to the source, the electricity, the power, the real power. But if you don't know where the socket is, can you connect? You have the cable, you are the iPhone, but you don't know where the power socket is. Where will you connect? Even if I tell you 1,000,000 ways to connect, if you don't know where the socket is, what will you do? You see? So everybody wants to connect to Swami. But here, they were hoping for one advice like that. One other way to plug in, without knowing where the plug point is. But Swami didn't like that. He wanted a real solution. So he said, Acha, when you go back to Delhi, do you experience your own presence? These were Swami's words. When you go back to Delhi, do you experience your own presence? They said, yes, Swami, we experience our presence. Do you all experience your presence right now? Right now. Are you sure? Are you present? Or are you having an out-of-body experience? Yeah, fine. So the laughter shows you're present. So, yeah. So you're present, right? You're experiencing your presence. Swami then said, your presence is Swami's presence. Your presence is Swami's presence. Your presence and Swami's presence is one and the same. These were the words of Bhagavan to those young adults. Now you tell me, as long as you're experiencing your presence, where is Swami? In your presence, because that presence is Swami's presence. So where do you have to go searching to connect to him? So Bhaja, in Bhaja Govindam, Bha is that presence, that illumination that we're talking. Why we use the idea of illumination is not because there is some tube light inside us glowing like that. It's not the idea. The point is, it is only in the presence of light that you know things, isn't it? Imagine here, if there is pitch darkness, not a single ray of light, will you be aware of anything in this room? Is it possible? Well, please speak. Is it possible? No. Which means, only when there is light, there is knowing. Do you agree? So it is that idea that is brought into illumination. And that's why in the Indian scriptures they say, God is Koti Surya Samaprabha, which means he has the effulgence of 1 crore suns. Can you look at one sun with eyes open? Can you look at one sun with your eyes open? They say Koti Surya Samaprabha just to inspire you to know you can't see it with your physical eye. It's impossible to see it as something separate from you. Whatever you do on the outside, you cannot see it. That is the idea they wanted to communicate. Therefore, they said it is having the bha or effulgence of Koti Surya. One Surya itself we can't take. Right? So, what that bhaja means is the attention, our power of awareness. We are all aware, right? Are you aware of the surroundings here? Are you aware of what the climate is here now? How it feels? Is it too cold, too hot? You are aware? This awareness comes from your presence. You're first present and then you're aware. You see, in your deep sleep, when you're aram se mast, in deep sleep, are you aware of anything? Neither are you aware of your presence, but nor are you aware of anything else. Why? Because you're not aware of your presence. Moment you open your eyes, the first thing that you become aware of is your own presence. It may not shout out loud, but you know you are there, right? That is the awareness of your presence. From there, the awareness goes into your thoughts, then into your feelings, so on and so forth. You see? That's how awareness moves. How? Outward. But if you turn that awareness to your own presence, which is Swami's presence, you know your presence to be Swami's presence. And your presence has none of your qualities that you think you have otherwise as this name and form. Okay? So don't get confused. The name and form is limited, and that is not what Swami was referring to. When he said presence, in some time we will explore practically how this presence is. Okay? Coming back again, Bhaja Govindam. Ja means constant. Bha means presence that you are. You see? The awareness has to be turned towards your presence. That's all is needed. Bhaja means that. In fact, the culmination of bhajan is also that. Culmination of bhajan is so that you silence the vicissitudes of mind in such a way that the mind or the awareness power merges into its source. You see? That is when you experience bliss. That bliss is not coming out of your singing, the bliss is coming from you. Your own presence actually. You see? When the mind is gone, you know yourself to be blissful. That's all it is. So, Bhaja Govindam, what did Shankaracharya mean by that? Govindam here means God, of course, but Govindam specifically for Adi Shankaracharya here means his Guru, Govinda Bhagavat Pada. Here, his Guru, Govinda Bhagavat Pada. That is why he said Bhaja Govindam. Don't waste your time to surrender to that bha or illumination, your own true self. What is the true self? Your Guru. For Shankaracharya, it was Govinda Bhagavat Pada, so he punned with that word. He used Govindam to connote both divinity, also to connote his Guru. That is the importance of surrendering your mind to the lotus feet of Guru. And how is his Guru? Adi Shankara did not go about with a painting of his Guru and say, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. Did he? No. What he meant, that presence that you are, that is your Guru. That is the Sadguru, that is Bhagavan. And that is the Guru. That presence, which is pure Satchitananda, time to time takes a form. You see? And that is the form of our Guru, Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai. The Supreme Presence has taken this beautiful form of Bhagavan. And what is the first thing that he sang when he declared his avatarhood? Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam. Right? Now what we have to understand is, what is that kind of Guru to whom this mind must be surrendered? Okay? So I am going to tell you, there are going to be 2-3 puzzles in this series, right? There are going to be 2-3 puzzles. First one is what we are going to do now. Please be alert, because if you miss the story, you can't solve the puzzle. It's as simple as that. Okay? So be alert. Because we are in school, I'm not taking you back to school. This is higher learning. Shri Satya Sai, higher learning this is. But though it's in the school. Okay? So, listen to this carefully. Who is the Guru to whom the mind must be surrendered? Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam. So, the story starts. There was once a traveler who had traveled for such a long distance that he lost his way. He forgot where he came from. What is his original village? Therefore, he was meandering from one village to another, hoping to find some excitement, some joy, some happiness. He would get them, but he was not satisfied. He always had this deepest urge to get back home. But the problem was, he did not know where the home is, the original home is, and how to get there. Both these things he did not know. So finally he reached one village. And again there were wise men there. You know, wise men always help us narrators with the story. I don't know if they help the people in the story, they help us. So there was a group of elderly people there, wise men, to whom he goes and says, I am tired of walking from one village to another in round and round and round and round. It's too much for me. Can you please help me? You seem to be wise. Can you please help me get back to my home? I don't remember where my home is. All those wise men consulted with each other and gave him an advice. They said, go to this end of this village. We'll show you which direction, but go to the end of this village. There you will find an endless river. This is a puzzle, so you have to solve this. Please remember all the characters and the story points. So go to the end of the village and you will find an endless river. Means the other bank is not visible to you. That kind of a vast river, like the ocean, but it's a river. When you get there, on the banks of the river, you will find some people who will help you. So this traveler goes, right? And when he goes to the bank of the river, he finds one person. Now, all the elements in the story, I'm putting a disclaimer here, are only symbolic in nature. Okay, so don't take them literally or don't take offense of it, right? It's highly symbolic, and this story was written by Swami in Vidyavahini and narrated multiple times in discourses. Okay, so this man who went to the banks of this river saw the first person he met was a lame person. He didn't have legs. So he went and spoke to him and said, "Sir, can you please help me with information as to where my home is? The elders say that it is across this endless river, which I can't see. What's on the other end I can't see, but it's across this river. I have to go there. Do you know how to go there?" So this man, he says, "Yes, of course, I know how to go there. You do one thing, you come and sit next to me first, okay? I will give you the directions of how to go. Now, you get down into this river. This river has no bank, so you have to jump. Take a leap of faith and jump into the river. Having done that, the first 50 meters you walk, it's going to be a terrain where the water will be only at your waist level, so you can wade through that. But then you have to take a right turn there. The next 200 meters is a lot of up and down. At exactly 109 meters of the 200 meters, you will have to do a long jump, like in the Olympics, because the depth is too much, you can't take it. So you must do a long jump. Then turn left and go in this direction for 1 kilometer, and there you will find your home." So he was talking about these directions, the depths of the river and all that. So this traveler, though he's tired of his journey, he has grown in wisdom, right? Because of all this journey he did. So that's called the traveler's wisdom. We have also gained some in the last couple of weeks. So when he went there, he said, "But can you, sire, please tell me, how exactly do you know how deep is the river at what points? Because unfortunately you don't have legs, which means you couldn't have done it yourself." Right? So this man said, "It's okay. I'm not telling you anything. I'm just saying, sit next to me and repeat whatever I told you to whoever comes here. You will get a lot of money." So he said, "Thank you so much. I am not looking for money here. I would like to go." He just, left him and went ahead. The next person that he saw was a blind man. This blind man, when he asked the same question as to, "Sir, can you help me go across?" he gave more reliable answers as to, how to walk, what is the depth and all. After giving all those answers with the direction, he said, "Come to this particular point, and from there, exactly in the northeast direction, if you see, beyond this I can't give you a road map, it's sky map. So exactly in the northeast direction, if you see, you will see a blue light. If you see that blue light, just follow it. Don't deviate from your path, and you will reach there on the other bank." So then this wise traveler wondered, and he said, "Sir, I understand you could have traversed this path, but how did you see the blue light?" So he said, "No, I'm telling you it is there. You just follow." So he says, "Sorry, that's not enough for me. Thank you," and he walks away, right? And then finally, he meets a man after long distance of travel, with lot of effort. He's tired, but at a distance he sees a man who looks healthy, like fully fit. And therefore, he goes there with all the strength that he could muster. He pushes himself and gets there. And he almost falls at his feet. And he says, "Sir, can you help me get across to my home? Please. Do you know how to get there?" He says, "Yes. Not only do I know how to get there, I am from there. And I have come here to hold your hand and take you across." And that's the end of the story. And the traveler gives his hand into this perfectly fit being, and the perfectly fit being still takes him and jumps into the river. There's still no bank. That part of the story is true. So they jump into the river, and he holds his hand, and the traveler holds on to the hand of this fit person, and he takes him across and actually makes him reach. And when he reaches his hometown, his true original village, suddenly he sees his vision is transformed. Everybody in this hometown of his look like him. Everybody, including the person who took him, everybody looks the same. This was his experience. This is the story. Now you tell me, who is this traveler? Yeah.
All of us.
Meaning?
Human being.
Of course, I think only human beings are here. Yeah, but I'm just joking. But
You and me and everybody who's on the earth is a traveler.
Is a traveler. Okay, so every seeker is a traveler, right? Very nice. Thank you. Yeah? Okay, second, what is the village that this traveler is moving around? Huh? I'll give you a hint. I forgot to mention that in the story, so it's my mistake. So the village name where he was wandering around, that township or that village was called Panchanagari. So what is this village? Not the same, only you get only one chance, sorry. Yes, sister.
Could be the organization that we're a part of, the 5 animals.
That's a nice interpretation. Yeah, I like that. Sorry, brother, I'm not going to give it to you again. No. Oh, that's interesting as well. Yeah. Anybody else? Senses? Yeah? The world. And why is it Panchanagari? Pancha means 5. The world that is made of 5 elements. You see, all of you are there. The world that is made of 5 elements. That's where this traveler is traversing. But the traveler has forgotten his home. I will get to that. Now, the traveler meets a group of elderly people who are seated there in that village. Who are those group of, what do they signify? The elderly in the village, what do they signify? Preceptors? The rishis, the seers. No, okay. Yeah, everybody is nearby, close by, but not bullseye. So the elderly in the story represent Satsanga. Satsang. Only in Satsang do you get a direction. You see? They give him a direction as to where to go. This direction comes only through Satsang. So that is Satsang. Okay. Next, what is the river that he approached, which is endless? You can't see the other side. Whether by default I'll come back to you if nobody answers. Yeah? Yes, sir. You mean samsara? Samsara, yes. So the river is the samsara, the ocean, the continuous cycle of birth and death. In the afternoon game, you will see more of this. So it's a continuous cycle of, so it's endless. You can't see the other bank. You don't seem to get across, right? So that is it. So what does the lame man signify? I actually leaked more of the story than I should, but then at least guess it now. What does the lame man signify? Brother, your default. Yeah, there, somebody? So the volunteers with mics, if you can raise your hand, I will know where the voice is coming from. Yeah. Yes, sister.
Sir, it is, I think, only in theory, person who has an experience but just preaches.
Okay. Close. Okay. Yes.
I'll call it a fake guru.
Give a round of applause to him. See, the first one is a fake guru. That is, he has no experience whatsoever. He has no information whatsoever. But yet he is a guru. He is sitting there. And therefore, when you go to him, he will tell you some directions which he has not traversed. No practice. but he will still give you as if he knows it. Then when you find out that what he is doing is something that he doesn't know, he will tell you, set up your shop next to me, I am giving you a very lucrative way to earn your living. Right? So that is, Swami gives a name for such a person in Vidyavahini as Bhada Gurus. Bhada means who are a problem, difficulties. They are a burden on you. Guru is supposed to remove the burden, but Guru also means weight. Do you know that in Sanskrit, Guru is the one, Guru means one who dispels darkness. But Guru also means weight, heavy. So this first kind of Guru is a Bhada Guru because he is a burden on us. He is there to take away all your money, but he is of no use to you. Thank you for that, brother. Wonderful. So who is the next person, the blind person? Quickly, you won't give me time later, there's so much to do. Be quick. You should have thought of this by now, please. Who is the blind man?
Who has got no knowledge?
No. Yes.
Is it like a person who just blindly believes what others tell him but doesn't actually experience?
Partly, I'll take your answer. Can anybody just complete it? The last part of his answer is right. So the second type of blind guru, his directions will be very good. Why? Because he has read the Shastras. He has read the Vedas. He knows intricately, if you do this karma, if it is a good karma, what results you'll get. If it's a bad karma, what results you'll get. If you're going through some difficulties in life, he may suggest pariharas. Parihara means, if you do this, your life will improve. Right? It will get better. Such people are there. Do you see? Whatever Swami says is practical. You can find like this in the world. Such people are there. And then they are very scholarly. They will tell you exactly what Atma Jnana looks like. But they don't have it. Right? They just don't have it. And therefore, that's why he shows the blue light and says there must be a blue light. Why? Because in the Vedas it is said, Nilato yada madhyastha vidhyulleke vavasvaram. So they say blue light is there, but they have not seen it. Light there means something else, but they have not seen it. So therefore, what happens? They becomes Bodha Gurus according to Swami. Bodha Gurus means they can preach to you. Like somebody mentioned preachers, they can preach to you very well. And what they are saying has got solid authenticity in terms of content. Why? Because it's coming from the Vedas or from the scriptures. So you will find it across religion. So any scripture for that matter. Right? So they are called Bodha Gurus because they are preaching you. First is Bhada Guru, the one who is a burden on your head. The second one is a Bodha Guru. They will fill your head with information. They can also give you some world level solutions. But to get across to your home, can they do that? No. So the Bhada Guru you have to avoid. Bodha Gurus, you can listen to them because they are still speaking the truth enshrined in the scriptures. But don't surrender your mind to them. Why? Because they don't have a direct experience. So somebody may give eloquent lectures on the Upanishad. Don't surrender your mind to them. Please understand this. Yeah? Eloquence is not the realization of truth. In fact, where speech and thoughts end, their realization begins. Where speech and thoughts end, their realization begins. Right? So eloquence is not that. Now the last one, the healthy one. Let's see, among, the many participants here, we should explore a few more. Yes, I will definitely listen to your default. I will definitely come back to you, even if somebody else gets it right. Okay, yeah. Yeah? Amma? Avatar. Beautiful. Anybody else? Yes, sister. Satguru. Perfect answer. You can still say that again if you want. Swami. See? He got it right as well. Please, loud round of applause. Okay? Avatar, Satguru, Swami, they mean the same. Do you know that? They mean the same. What? Who is a Sat Guru? Guru means one who removes ignorance, right? So you have today finance gurus. What do? If you don't understand finance, they remove your ignorance of finance. So they are finance gurus. Then you have gadget gurus. So many gadgets coming into the world, you definitely need a guru to tell you what's the right thing. You just Google and you look for gadget gurus who can explain which model of iPhone is better, or iPhone or Samsung. What is it, Android? How do you know? That's because they have intricate information about how it works. So you're looking forward to remove your ignorance with their help. So they're gadget gurus. But if you want to remove the ignorance, as Auntie mentioned, avidya, that is ignorance about who you really are. If you want to remove that, you need a guru who would remove ignorance that is covering Sat or truth. Truth means presence. Sat means presence, your own presence. Because you're not aware how to turn the mind inward. To show you that, only Sadguru's grace will help, nothing else. Satguru means Bhagavan. Satguru means avatar. Nobody else can claim to be Satguru. Why? Satguru means the one who is in a constant state of realization and therefore has come here to take you and go across. That's why he says, not only do I know where it is, I am from there. I have come here with only one purpose, to take you back home. You see? So such a guru, and Bhagavan makes it very clear in Sathya Sai Vahini. Are you aware of Sathya Sai Vahini? So in Sathya Sai Vahini, it's possibly the most beautiful Vahini. All Vahinis are beautiful. But in this context, to understand this point, you must read Sathya Sai Vahini. Swami says, the only Satguru is an avatar. Means they are already realized. They are from that village, original village. But they come here to take us and go. When they come, they are called avatars. You see, Swami has come. Swami doesn't belong to this time. He's timeless. But he comes, he assumes a form in time to make us also timeless. Not make us, to just show us that we are already timeless. You see? Okay. So I hope Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam is clear, because that is the theme for today. Now we have to quickly browse through a lot of content. Okay. Why should we do sadhana? I hope it's clear now from the traveler story that without sadhana shown by Bhagavan, the avatar, the Sadguru, you cannot get across. Holding his hand and walking, going across means what? Whatever sadhana that Swami has given us, we implicitly obey. We implicitly do that sadhana. That is holding his hand. Taking across, he will do. Don't worry about that. He is perfect in his duty. Holding his hand, we have to do. That is doing sadhana. Okay? So, why should we do sadhana? Yes. But in brief, if I am to say, it so happened once in an interview room, Swami was seated and there were a few students and devotees in the interview room, and Swami asked them a question. Do you know Subhadra? They said, yes, Swami, we know Subhadra. Who is Subhadra? They said, Swami, Krishna's sister and Arjuna's wife. So Swami went on to ask, one day, do you know the story that one day Krishna calls Arjuna and tells him that ready your chariot, take Subhadra in the chariot, go to the banks of Yamuna and tell her that I have told her. Tell her that I have told her. Krishna has told her it is time. She will understand and she will do the needful. What you must do after that is walk back to the chariot without turning around and seeing after you drop her, and come back to me and report to me. So Arjuna understands and he is shattered, but he has to follow the divine command. He readies his chariot. He himself is the charioteer, and he makes Subhadra come with him, goes to the banks of Yamuna, and then says, Subhadre, Krishna has said this, and I have to communicate it to you. He says it is time. Subhadra too understood the words of the divine, and then she bade her farewell to Arjuna and walks into Jala Samadhi, into the river. When she does that, Arjuna, who was going back, because of his intense attachment to his wife, he forgets the divine command and he turns around and sees. And you know what he sees? That Subhadra's body is dropped. See, they in that era It is not suicide, just to tell you. They knew how to leave the body at the time of death. And that doesn't mean liberation. That's a yogic practice. So she left her body as she walked into the river. So the body was basically like a cloth. Body, as Swami would say, body is just, death is change of dress. So this is a dress that we are wearing. So she just dropped the dress, right? But the thing is, when Arjuna turned around and he saw a demoness fly away. Because he was able to see, he saw a demoness fly away. And he was shocked. And he got into the chariot. At double speed, he reached Krishna. And of course, Krishna was waiting for Arjuna. As soon as he saw Arjuna, he said, I told you not to turn and see. Right? But Arjuna said, please forgive me, but there are bigger problems here. My wife was a demoness? You didn't tell me that all this while. I hope that is only Arjuna's predicament. So he said, my wife was a demoness and you didn't tell me all this while. Sorry sisters, it's just a joke. Right? You may have the same feelings otherwise. Right? See? You can. So, Krishna then said, see, in my previous incarnation, when Sita was imprisoned in Lanka, there was only one lady who took care of her. Her name was Trijata. Trijata was the daughter of Vibhishana, and she served Mother Sita day in and day out. This whole story is being narrated by Swami, okay? Except the joke part. So Trijata, day in and day out, she was in Mother Sita's Satsang. And what Satsang would happen, you can imagine. Mother Sita is talking about how beautiful is Rama, how compassionate is Rama, how would Rama walk, how would Rama talk, how he would take care of all his subjects, whether they are ministers or whether they are ordinary gardeners in his garden. He had the same love for everybody. All these beautiful aspects of Sri Rama was a satsang that she would have every day. So much so, Trijata has not physically seen Rama, but her mind and awareness is full of Rama. And she has visualized the form of Rama in her mind. It happened after the death of Ravana, when he was vanquished. She is the one who brought Mother Sita to Sri Rama. At that time, she had the first physical darshan of the Lord who was enshrined in her heart and mind. And when she saw him, her heart burst out like a volcano with a prayer that was, Swami, let me be with you, either as your wife or sister, I don't care, I just want to be with you. This was a prayer. Rama, who received this prayer, this is a heart-to-heart prayer, nothing verbally said. Rama, who received this prayer, quickly saw that the service that she did to Mother Sita, see the value of service. The service that she did to Mother Sita made her eligible to be granted this boon that she was asking, and Rama internally said Tathastu, which means this will happen. But it obviously couldn't happen in that birth. So Sri Rama eventually came as Krishna. In between there was an incarnation where the Narayana Tattva was born as Rishi Nara and Narayana in the Himalayas, in Badrinath, right? And both of them had a task to, it's a long story, but they had a task, and after they fulfilled the task, Lord Narayana was immensely pleased with the penance of Rishi Nara. So he asked Rishi Nara, what boon do you want? And Rishi Nara said that I want you to be my charioteer, my Sarathi. He meant spiritually and in life, right? So Lord Narayana, who was as Rishi Narayana there, Narayana himself split himself into two, the ignorant and the enlightened, right? The Nara and Narayana. And Nara did penance on Narayana. Narayana was in bliss within himself, as he is, right? So these two incarnations of Lord Narayana then were born in the next birth, Lord Narayana or Rishi Narayana as Krishna and Rishi Nara as Arjuna. They are the aspect of the same divinity, you see? And what happened? Rama, who is also Lord Narayana, fulfilled the boon of Trijata. How? She was born as Subhadra, the wife of Arjuna, the Nara aspect of Narayana, and the sister of Krishna, Narayana himself. You see? So because she uttered that, look at how divine works. He has endless solutions. You just have to ask him. He will bring you a solution. In fact, Swami would say, I'm always waiting with eager ears, listening to my devotees, but they never ask me. That is the predicament. Right? Swami narrated this whole story and then said, though Subhadra was so close to Krishna, she used to play on his lap. She grew up, Krishna literally brought her up like a father. And he was also a wonderful brother to her. And they were so intimate in their relationship, whatever Krishna thought or whatever he needed in his life, Subhadra would know. Just a glance would be enough. Sometimes Krishna didn't have to communicate at all. Subhadra will know. That's how close they were. Swami then said, in spite of this proximity, Subhadra did not take Krishna as her Satguru. Subhadra did not take Krishna as her Sadguru, and therefore she did not do the necessary sadhana. And what happened? Because she was spending time with the avatar, all her punya phalas, punya karmas, meritorious deeds got exhausted, and she had to go back to where she began, and therefore Subhadra dissolved her body and a demoness flew outward, Trijata. She had to go back to her pre-penance era. Why? Because she didn't make use of the opportunity with the avatar. And then Swami told the people in the interview room, Meeru kuda ante. You are also like this only. You have done immense penance in your life. That is why you recognize the avatar when he is here. You see, when Rama was there, it is said only 14 people knew that he is an avatar. When Krishna was there, a few hundred people knew. When Sathya Sai is here, millions know. It's a rare opportunity. The very fact that you know is a result of your own penance that you have done. God knows for how long, right? And when you are here and you know the avatar and he is willing to be our Satguru. And somebody asked me this question, why does Swami declare himself as Jagat Guru? Why is he not telling that he is Sadguru? Because he is the only one capable of giving the absolute realization. I said, that is because there are no Sat Sishyas. He is not addressing Sat Sishyas. People come to him asking for this and that. They want, some job, marriage to happen properly, prosperity in wealth, some problem resolution. He is basically a problem solver for most people. But nobody comes to God for the reason why he has come. The fundamental reason why. He has come to give, no doubt. He only gives and gives. But nobody asks God for what he has really come to give, you see. And therefore, there are no Sat Sishyas. Sat Guru only manifests when there is a Sat Sishya. Arjuna was a Sat Sishya and therefore Krishna became Sat Guru there. And here, if we become Sat Sishyas, then Bhagavan will be our Sadguru. Otherwise, he will not assume that title simply. You see, he will be Jagat Guru. Means all the problems of your world, how to lead your life here, how to sanctify your life in this Jagat, he will teach you. And therefore, he will declare himself as Jagat Guru. But in reality, Bhagavan is the only Sadguru. He is the Parabrahma who has taken all these forms. And therefore, I bow down to each one of you because you are Swami sitting here.